you work at the best field in the world.
For a really long time, I actually thought I had no talent. Can a job actually fulfill my time and make me happy? My name is Jo. It's short for Josefina. Yes, it's a very long name.
From the nature of what we're doing, they have multiple hats.
I do the supper clubs, I do workshops, I do pop-ups, private events. Why am I not as happy as I should be when technically by the book, everything is okay. I'm well paid, I'm doing well, I had a great team, I had a great boss. I felt kind of selfish, started getting depressed. Just took some pictures, put it on my Jo's Kitchen page, which back then was just me taking pictures of food I made. Then people were like, how can we book this? There's a demand for that. I'd like to do that,
Let's talk a little bit about how you monetize this and how you made it a business.
Don't be too hard on yourself in the beginning, but be humble enough to accept criticism. If you are not able to take criticism or you're not able to handle, you didn't do so good here and then, and, pick that up and be like, okay, I'll do better next time, then you definitely should not be in this business.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jo. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. So thank you for coming to Those Who Wonder.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to have you, not because you work at the best field in the world, but also because we're friends. And I think we're going to have some fun here. So, Jo, I want you to introduce yourself. I would love to, but I prefer my guests to do it because they have from the nature of what we're doing, they have multiple hats. So please introduce yourself. What did you do before? What you're doing now?
I shall. Let me start with the good stuff. So my name is Jo. It's short for Josefina. Yes, it's a very long name. It sounds Italian. I'm not Italian. I'm half German, half Lebanese. I started out in media and advertising when I moved to Dubai in 2010. I can't really say it was a passion of mine. I think I was just like, most people that graduate with a vague, vague profession. And by vague, I mean, it's not like I anticipated to be a doctor or an engineer, right? So I did advertising because it made sense. And I've been working in that field ever since for around, I think, 14 years. And I did pretty well. I was pretty proud of myself. I had a good career run, but I always felt there was something missing. And for a really long time, I actually thought I had no talent. I'd be like, this person can do that and this person can do this. Like, it would be nice if I had like a talent, and then I can monetize on that or something. And then down the line, I think I'm jumping down things you're going to ask me later. But
the podcast now finished.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I think it makes a good story.
Yeah, it does.
So down the line, after I kind of like fell into finding out that I'm very passionate about food and not just eating it and putting on and off the pounds, but also like creating it and stuff. I put together Jo's Kitchen. So Jo's Kitchen is SCH. It comes off the German language, but also, let's be honest, kitchen wasn't available, so I had to improvise. So what I specialize is in homemade pasta. And I try to use local ingredients and try to be sustainable. By that, I mean, I don't predominantly use flour that is 00, that is flown in from Italy or something. I try to use with produce and flour that we have here in the UAE.
Nice. Locally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do the supper clubs, I do workshops, I do pop-ups, private events, all of that. I've been doing that for a few years. I've done some really cool stuff. And I've also recently started something else as a co-founder of another like subsidiary brand. It's called Trés because we are 3 friends.
Creative.
Yes, very. Came up with that one drunk night. Yeah, so that is another side thing that has absolutely nothing to do with Jo's Kitchen, but in some way there always has to be pasta involved. And this is a concept I do with 2 other chefs where we kind of go more off the fine dining field, but still everybody kind of puts their own personality and talent into it.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, that was a long introduction. Yeah. Okay, we need to find a shorter one.
Jo's Kitchen chef.
Jo's Kitchen chef, whatever you want to pay for these days.
Jo, I see that you didn't bring any food samples with you. Thank you very much for not.
Nayla, as far as I know, you have eaten at my house plenty of times.
I have. All right. So, Jo, thank you for the intro. And I would love to know a bit more. We're going to dig deep. So I know that obviously everyone goes through a bit of a struggle deciding what they want to do. There's a phase where you're working every day and you're trying to do something on the side. Or in your case, was it that you left everything? I mean, I know your story, but I want you to tell everyone. So how did you feel that this was your calling? Did you try it? Did you get enough of your job, for example, or this lifestyle? Tell me a little bit about your thought process.
To go a bit more personal than I usually like to share, because I know that's what you want. I'll get right to it. As I said in my very short, not so short intro, I was pretty good at what I was doing. So being pretty good at what you're doing, but feeling somehow not satisfied and not happy enough when, you have a chance to count your blessings and say, I have a nice apartment, I have a car, I'm able to get around, I can travel, etc. It started getting to me that why am I not as happy as I should be when technically by the book, everything is okay. I'm well paid, I'm doing well, I had a great team, I had a great boss. Until today, we're still very, very close. I consider him family. So I felt kind of selfish to go like, what is it that I'm missing? And kind of when Corona came, I had more of a chance to really explore my culinary side after having also just moved back from LA. Not Al Ain. Sometimes people go like, did you say Al Ain? I was like, no, I meant Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I lived there for a few years. That's kind of when I really fell into everything food related. And I didn't have a job yet as I was waiting for my green card. And you just have like this few months to bridge over and, entertain yourself. So I'm not known to be lazy. I always like to be on the go, even if I'm working from home. So, but I wanted to be on a budget. I've always been good at being on a budget. I like to eat well. I like to do things, but I also like it to make sense and resonate. I think that's the German side of me.
Yeah.
And so I started making more things from scratch, instead of other people would buy good produce at the market, I would start making a lot of things myself. And I would also start really looking into how can I eat well, but not like necessarily have to go to a Trader Joe's or something like that, which are more on the expensive side of things. How can I, get value for my money, but still not compromise on, flavor and quality, etc. So that really starting to become joyful. And I had a partner back then. So I was kind of inspired of making all these things and getting feedback of like, babe, this is really good. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I should do more. And I felt I had a fan. It was one fan back then. But it was a very strong fan. And I just kept doing more and more and hosting for other people, and then got into work. And then also quickly realized that, work, America is not for me. So here again, I wasn't sure. Is living in America not for me? Is the work that I have in America not for me? Or is it the job itself that it wasn't for me?
So sorry to interrupt. So in America, you were doing as well advertising.
Yes.
So it was the same
also
field.
In the media industry. Because when I finally got my green card, I was like, I can't be lazy. I need to get off the couch. I need to, contribute to this relationship, parent and stuff. So obviously the first thing I'm going to do is not reinvent myself and go like, what would I really like to do?
Yeah.
Even though I did come out of a sabbatical. So I had a sabbatical and then I moved to LA and then I got back into advertising. Okay. So I was like, what's this the smartest thing to do? Because when you go on a sabbatical, you kind of like trying, I know it sounds gay, terrible, to find yourself, right? Yeah. So long story short, moved back to Dubai, again, trying to find happiness, constantly chasing it, right? And constantly feeling guilty about it. So moved back to Dubai, got into, again, the same field, and I still wasn't feeling it. Yeah. And to be honest, I started getting depressed because, again, there's a lot of bad feelings, but I think one of the bad ones is, when you don't know what makes you happy, when everything around you is good. So then I got encouraged to go to culinary school. You know, I was like, you love food so much. But, you know, when somebody says you love food so much, that also doesn't mean much. Okay, what do I do now? Do I open a restaurant?
Yeah.
What do I do with this? I love to eat and I love to make food.
Especially that you started a bit later in life, right?
Exactly.
Like it's not a hobby that you had when you were 10 or 15 or anything. So it's something that started off like that, randomly.
Of course. You know, when you're much younger, if I knew that earlier, I would have climbed the ladder like everyone else, you know, started in the kitchen, wash the dishes, be an apprentice, etc. So here I am in my 30s, you know, I know that age is just a number, but still I can't go to a restaurant and start in dishwashing, you know, not that that's wrong, but at my age and where I have gotten to,
it will take you longer if you start from scratch, right? Like if you start with the dishwashing and everything, it's also going to take you much longer if you're at a later stage in life.
Of course. And there's still, at the end, there's still the bills you have to pay, and there's still your, like, not, this all doesn't go away. You know, it's not like I can move into my mom's house and be like, I want to follow my dream.
Yeah. Mom's basement.
So then I went to culinary school to at least see, you know, what is it that I really like about food, you know, how can I put this together? Because it is easy to say I can make a dish for a few friends, but, you know, food costs and how to store and how to, you know, all these things that you need to know. I didn't really know that much. Went to culinary school, did really good, really loved what I was doing. At the same time, I was still going to work, so I was doing this on weekends. And that kind of kept me afloat because I had both worlds. And then that ended. So I was like, okay, cool. And then Corona came along.
So that was before COVID.
So that was all like intertwining at one point. So COVID came along. So now I have to go to school with a mask, and like we're working from home, and like this is all happening. So since we're all hanging out with each other, you know, we all had one group. Everybody was responsible for something. Somebody was, you know, making the cocktails. Somebody was taking care of our gym program, you know.
Nice.
And I was responsible for entertaining people with food. And I also like to do it in a how do you call it? In a group activity, right? Yeah. So let's make tacos together. Let's do this and this together. So then we did a pasta day. And because we have nothing to do in our day, I really went all out. I bought like some equipment on Amazon. I just took some pictures, put it on my Jo's Kitchen page, which back then was just me taking pictures of food I made, you know.
Okay.
And then people were like, how can we book this towards the end of COVID, where things were becoming more relaxed? And I was like, okay, there is a demand for that. I'd like to do that, you know. So then I started that, and that was a lot of fun. Of course, it's not easy to bring the word out and everything, but I really found myself enjoying these activities and, you know, teaching people how to make pasta using local ingredients and, you know, them having to eat the fruit of their labor. And then people were asking, how can we get involved without having to necessarily make the pasta? Like, is there anything else? I was like, excellent idea. And then I was just freshly hearing about supper clubs. So I was like, I'll take a stab at doing a supper club. Of course, the journey to having a successful supper club takes a while and it's hard work. So I do encourage people who would like to start their own supper club. You know, it's easy to make a good dish, but you need to be consistent and you need to have word of mouth. They need to be good so you can get reach, right? It's not just about bringing people in the door, you know.
It's also not just, just bringing people into the door is also very difficult.
This is the hardest part,
right?
It's the hardest part.
So when you talk about it, it seems like it kind of just happened with you, with a lot of work, obviously, with you being consistent on your page, with showing a lot of passion for what you do. But how were you able to... let's talk a little bit about how you monetize this and how you made it a business. So you can go from passion to business, but you can go from passion to trying to make a business and then fail. So how did you think about monetizing this? And was this successful from the beginning? What did you learn from basically trial and error, maybe?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of failing in that, or let's say not failing, like, you know what, I could have done this better. I need to change my approach or something. So of course, in the beginning, you know, it was super hard just because one group asked me to do a workshop. It doesn't mean that I'm going to have, you know, people, you know, running through my door. I had to invite in the beginning a lot of friends, you know, and do a lot of free stuff, just, you know, to spread the word.
Yeah.
And hopefully that they also share this. And, you know, like when they go to work on the weekend and somebody says, oh, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I had a pasta class. Like, this is kind of how I started growing in the beginning. I was doing it at the same time as I was still working, so on the weekends. So if I wasn't able to get enough bookings, it was okay, hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the weekend and I was working all week, so I'm able to kind of do that. But once I started relying a bit more on the supper clubs, because it was doing so good for a while, and you never know really what the formula was. Like, did some influencer talk about you? Did somebody, like, you don't know sometimes what it is that all of a sudden, you know, people want to come. And then you kind of want to build on that. And then you're like, cool. So last month I was totally booked. So next month I'm going to expect this and this much. And the next month comes and like your
Nothing
bookings
happens.
are like this. And you're like, it's a bit
especially
difficult
that you were
when
doing
you're relying
things,
on it.
Yeah, you were doing things organically, right? So it's also kind of waiting to see what happens and being, you know, very excited that people are coming, as you said. But then the next month you're like, oh, what's happening? But how did you manage to learn what was going on? So did you understand why people were not coming, why people were not showing up as much as you wanted them, or did you try harder? So what are some of the things that you...
A lot of things are the Instagram algorithm.
Okay.
We gotta give Instagram. You are, you know, you give us a piece of the pie, and then, you know, we're hooked on it, and then you start dangling it to make our life difficult.
People need to know that, by the way. Like, a lot of people feel failure eventually when they start off, and they get so excited and they have a lot of traction. It happens to me all the time. And then you post something that's amazing. You think it's amazing. And then you just get like a couple of likes or interactions. Yeah. It's real. The struggle is real.
I would say whenever I am in that place, or if anyone else is ever in that place, you know, don't be too hard on yourself in the beginning, but be humble enough to accept criticism. And what I mean by that is that whenever I launch a new menu or something, I first run it by my friends. That's food-wise only. And then on the dining experience itself, I also always invite a friend every now and then to just give me really honest feedback in terms of vibe, or maybe this took too long, or maybe this should have been cooked more or less, you know, like at the end of the day, we all can't know everything, you know, it's a learning curve. So if you are not able to take criticism, or you're not able to handle, you know, you didn't do so good here and then, and, you know, pick that up and be like, okay, I'll do better next time, but feel discouraged and think you're not good enough, then you definitely should not be in this business. Because I think everything that has something to do with, you know, craft and talent and things like that, you know, like it's, you only get better the more that you do.
And you're the center of attention, right? Like, it's your skill set. It's you as a person. It's a lot of eyes on you. And you're not used to it, I think. So before that, you were never kind of on camera. You were never doing a lot of the social things or hosting, right? So before the States, before trying, was this kind of a big flip for you? Is it something that you managed to just get into, or was it awkward, or how did you feel?
Well, I thought I was always a bit of a comic entertainer.
It was meant to be. So the camera's for you.
Yeah, it kind of happened naturally, you know, like, so in my supper club, what I try to bring to the table, or what I notice people walk away with, is they're like, we had a really fun time. She's really cool. Yeah. She made us laugh. She cracked some jokes, you know. So yeah, I think my personality, besides my food, is the number one selling point, entertaining. But getting back to your other question, you're not always in a good mood. Sometimes you had a really crap week, or something has happened to you and you're not at your game, but you know what? You have guests coming. So there's nothing that you can do, and you got to pick yourself up and you just got to smile. And you know what? It's crazy that this has happened quite a few times, to be honest, where I'm like, I'm not feeling this. How can I get out of it? Like, I'm having the worst day. And the moment it all starts, I just feel like I forget everything because I'm in my zone. You know, I'm Jo's Kitchen. I'm not anymore Jo who just got, brokenhearted or something. I need to pick this up and I need to make this fun. And on my social calendar, it says that on Wednesday at 12 p.m. I need to post a reel. So you know what? It is Wednesday. You're going to post that reel, even if it doesn't feel very real right now. But Yeah, that was a good play on words.
Yeah. Tap on the back. No, honestly, I think it makes sense, right? It goes to talk about the persistence and your dedication to what you're doing. So it's not about just winging it. You're talking about things happening organically, but it's not winging things. You're working hard on understanding what went wrong, hard on trying to please your customers. And I've been to your supper clubs multiple times, and I know that you work hard and you care so much about every little detail, about understanding people's likes and dislikes and whether they're enjoying their time or not. And it's all together. I feel it's kind of a 360 approach. So it's you, the food, and everything. Obviously, your food is amazing. For those who haven't tried it,
Try it now.
I want to know actually. So since you started a bit late, it's not that you're old, just a bit later.
Speak for yourself, woman.
So I want to understand, since it's a new skill set, it's very hard. So some people out there are trying to change their careers, trying to do something else. Like I'm doing kind of something in wellness, right? So it's very new. Did you feel like you were in competition with others that have been doing this for a while, or how did you differentiate yourself from the rest of the supper clubs, the chefs, the etc.?
Of course, you're always in competition. And if you think you're not in competition, then again, you should probably not be in this, because good competition, keeps you healthy and keeps things going. And you need to know what the competition is doing out there. Of course, in some way, there is competition in terms of like, this chef and this chef has been doing this for long. But especially in the supper club business, every one of the supper clubs that has been doing a great job, it is more of like we're complementing each other, right? So I'm happy for every successful supper club, because that keeps the supper club scene alive, right? Yeah. So their success in some way is going to be my success.
It's such a nice way of saying things.
Thank you. Yeah, because you know what? You came, I think I was your first supper club that you came to.
Yes.
You had a great time. Yeah. You went to another one, right? If you didn't have a good time, you would have probably thought a lot less of that concept and be like, I'm not going to do this, right? So at one point, I'm not really intimidated by the competition. I'm more intimidated of the ones that are coming up that are not on a level that I would expect, and worried that this is going to taint the supper club scene, because it has grown into such a big community in the past years, It
is. It's huge today. But what do you think about it?
I love it. I think, especially in a place like Dubai, this is a lovely experience, you know?
There's a lot of focus. Actually, during supper clubs, I used to go alone. And that's something I love. And that's something that Dubai is, not suffering from, but just a lot of people come here without family. This is how the city is, right? They don't have their family, their friends from home. They come here for work. And I felt like what I got from the supper club, other than getting a great food, is just meeting like-minded people and having this ability to connect with others. And I honestly went to most of them on my own. And it's such a wonderful experience, because most people are on their own as well. I made a lot of friends as well in the supper clubs. And I don't know if this is something that the community of the chefs of the supper clubs are trying to do something about, or did this just happen naturally? Because one of them as well tried to match people together and do singles night, and I think it just came with the flow. So is this something that was on your mind as well, or is it just around community?
No, of course, this was something I was thinking about. The cliche of food brings people together, etc.
It does.
Coming from a place like Berlin, for example, and having lived in the States in such a metropolitan city where, it's normal for people to go and have a meal on their own or a drink on their own. It's not weird. Whereas here, as you said, in this region, especially Dubai, most of the people are coming completely solo, but try to get a table for one, you get some table for one, or like joining tables or something. That is something that is not very common here. And I don't mind having a meal on my own, and I don't mind going to the cinema on my own, for example, because why do I need to sit next to somebody to watch a movie? We're not talking anyhow. But when it comes to a meal, and this is why I really wanted to go into the supper club scene, I thought it was so cool how, you can just you want to eat on a Friday night and you have nobody to go out with, sure, meet some people, and these things have really been great. And I've been to a few supper clubs, and I'll be honest, I only went once with a +1, and I could have been there on my own too, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Because having such a great time with everyone else. And most of the time I go on my own, and I think it's almost preferred, because you're having these, get to know conversations. When you come with somebody, you're mostly a we or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it
yeah,
breaks
I think
the dynamics. I feel like when you have like friends or a couple and someone is left out, it kind of breaks it. Jo, I want to go back to how you left your corporate job and how you left that life. I know that you worked in the same time in parallel and you tried to do the supper club and weekends. And when did this stop, and why did it stop? Like, what's going on in that mindset of yours when you're stopping the work?
So again, wasn't feeling too great about life.
Yeah,
I felt it has to be either or. In some way, we're brought up, like I should keep my job. It's a salary at the end of the day, something you can rely on every month. But then also Jo's Kitchen was picking up in supper clubs and pop-ups and other things. And I wouldn't be able... I also came to a cross line where it was either this or that. So my job started demanding more time of me because I had also gone into part-time a little bit. So started demanding in a very friendly way, Jo, it's either this or focus on what you really want to do. And I really think you should. So I had a really, really great support from my boss back then, who was like, I think you should, see this through, see what you can do. You don't just want to have a supper club on the weekends. And then I kind of made my calculations. I've been here for a long time. I'm very frugal. So I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can take off. And even if nothing works out at all for a year, I'm good. I'm covered. I won't be flying to the Maldives next week. That's completely fine. And, or anytime soon. So I took a leap of faith, and the first 2 months were pretty high. And I was like, I'm so glad I did this.
Yeah.
And then summer came and I was like,
what am I doing?
Crickets. So yeah, of course there's ups and downs, but I've been very, very happy since.
When was this?
This was last year, March.
Last year, March.
Yeah. So it was last year in March that this happened. And it's been a little over a year now. And of course, every now and then, especially when you wake up at 4 a.m., when you're thinking about nothing all day, but 4 a.m. it creeps in like, am I doing the right thing in my life? Did I make the right decision? Should I go back to work? You really miss that paycheck, don't you?
100%.
And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, life is good.
But actually take me through that. Like a lot of people go through these ups and downs, and some of them are very low and some of the ups are very high. And I've been going through this as well. So I have, I've had a great time since I left my job. I had like 6 months, 7 months. I'm like, amazing. I'm doing great, have some income, etc. And then, as you said, like at some point you're like, oh, what is the future carrying for me? Like what's nothing, something, I don't know. I need to do something about it. So what are some of the things that I would say, the tools that you have to stay positive, to ground yourself, to motivate yourself?
You mean besides medicine?
Besides medicine? Great tool. So what are the things that you were trying to, maybe like friends, family,
I started journaling. So whenever I feel there's a low, I journal and I speak to myself. So I go like, so Jo, today was real crap.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you will do better. I don't have to explain in my journaling what is crap.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, you're never going to go back to reading these pages. Yeah. It's just about letting it out right now. And then I kind of like try to say what my problem is in third person. So it's like I'm taking a look at myself like outside of my body and going like, Jo, that was not cool. Or Jo, you should have done that. And then also I always try to come up with a solution of like how to do it better. At one point, okay, this is really personal. I kept writing on my...
You can say whatever you want. We might cut it.
I wrote on my mirror in my bedroom. What was it that I wrote? I was like... what was it? Today is another day, or like you're doing great. Just stuff like that. It sounds cheesy, but like
if it
sometimes
works,
you
it
just
works.
need to remind yourself, you know. Or there was something else that I wrote that I read and that I wrote. Take care of your human, right? Because who else is going to take care of yourself? And I mean that in every aspect, and health, mental, financial, you know. Count your blessings, really. Like sometimes I really have to sit down, and the people that know me know I'm not into like any of that sage stuff, mumbo jumbo, but like, you know, kudos to everybody who is. Sometimes you do find me saging the house. I'm like, there's been a lot of people in here. I need to sage that out.
For different purposes.
No, for dinners. Because I'm like, I don't know, you know, just in case. You never know. So I'm just like, always saging. But yeah, literally count your blessings. Like every now and then when I'm in this dark spot, you know, just go like, you did this for a reason, and, you know, go through your financials, go like, you're not starving, you just can't do this and that, like cut down your spendings, you know. I started really writing everything on an Excel sheet of like how to do better, and like let's say my emergency fund, you know, once I have to start digging into that, I hope I don't have to, but once I do, how long will it actually sustain me? So be honest to yourself, take a look at reality, don't hide from it, don't go like Allah bishrafa, sorry in English, God will pave the way, you know, like God is great, cool, but God's not paying your bills.
True.
I have to pay my bills. So, you know what? Do that exercise. Look things straight into the eyes. See things for what they are and deal with that, because you don't want anything to creep up on you. And kind of once you feel that, you start feeling more content and you feel more secure. Like when you worry, oh my God, like what am I going to do in 3 months from now? Do the exercise. See how you are 3 months from now. What would be the backup plan in case you don't? Like I always have a plan B to go back to. You can always go back to work. You can always do something, you know? So in order for me to take that jump, I didn't just go like, I like to explore my passion. No, I did proper research for months, you know, proper search of like, can I do this? Can I not? How many dinners a week or a month would I need to have? If I don't have weekly dinners, if I want to go on a trip, you know, how much dinners or I call them experiences would I have to make in order to make sure I have my minimum spends covered, you know? And then when you do these exercises, I think it just feels a lot better when you wake up at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah. I agree. Listen, there is... so a lot of people get to where you're getting to through reading, through friends, through therapy, through coaching. And I see that you're doing everything on your own, right?
So you've one-stop shop.
Yes, you are. Tell me a bit about that. Like, why aren't you expanding if you can? What sort of help did you get? I remember you got a bit of help at home during your experiences, which is great. You know, you got some help with serving, with the cleaning, etc. So these are one of the things you've done. But did you do anything else? Did you have an accountant? Did you have a coach? Do you have a Jo?
ChatGPT. God bless ChatGPT, my assistant Sophia. And I do want to tell you, there is talent in ChatGPT, right? So you need to be a good conductor for ChatGPT to be a good assistant, right? So that also takes a lot of work to get that right, you know?
The right prompt.
Because I'm still, you know, I don't want to spend honestly extra on getting a videographer or professional photos. So I started educating myself on, you know, what do successful reels look like? What do people want to see in videos? What pictures can I take? What is trendy right now? La, 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 la. And I have a big circle of friends around me, and I try to, I'm not ashamed to ever say that I can't do something. So I wasn't really good in, for example, video editing. I went up to my friend and I was like, you do such great videos. Can you help me? I'll give you ravioli in return. You know, like things like that. And if I know somebody's really good, for example, in financials, I'm happy to, you know, can I pick your brain? So
were they responsive as well?
Yeah,
were they
and people are happy to be of help. You just need to ask them. I think a lot of people don't ask because, you know, we want to look like we know it all, but we really don't, and we can't. So I'm always happy to ask for help when it comes in, you know, in terms of like, you know, give me your 2 cents. And then, of course, in the kitchen, you can't do everything on your own. So I definitely need to have a waitress or somebody that helps me. Now with the other project that I have with Trés, here we are 3 chefs. So that is a whole complete different ambience, you know, and it's on a complete different level. And here, what is nice, it's not just Jo alone anymore all the time, you know, jumping off ideas on her cat. But it's, you know, like...
Please tell me the name of your cat.
Kefta.
The Arabs will know.
Because he looks like a kebab.
Okay.
What was I saying?
So now with the Trés Amis, you have friends?
Yes. So it's kind of nice working with 2 other professional chefs where, you know, we get together and we draw ideas, brainstorming. We have so many events lined up, you know, and being in high demand at such a new stage makes you feel like, you know what, I think we got something here, you know.
So how did this come alive, actually? We didn't tap into it. So you were at the Jo Kitchen, Jo's Kitchen, supper clubs, etc. One woman show.
Yeah.
What happened?
So by now we're all friends. When this started, I got a DM. Literally, somebody went into my DMs, and Farah, it's you, because you're gonna watch this. We know it was you. She came into my DMs being highly pregnant and
highly pregnant,
asking me for some raviolis for an event, and I was like, you know what? I don't sell raviolis, but you know what? I love anything business related. So now guess I do sell raviolis. How many do you need? Then a few days later, I still have not met this woman. She's like, I'll be honest with you. I'm really pregnant. I'm not doing great. I've been following for a while. I haven't come to your supper club yet, but I'm a big fan. Can you help me with this event? Actually, can you do it full on?
Wow.
I'm like, there's like a few days away. I don't know. I felt her pain through DMs, and I was like, I don't know how to help you yet. I can't do it all, but I'll help you somehow. I got you. Don't worry. Like, I can feel you're freaking out. I got you. So that made her know that, sure, Jo can help me, but I need someone else. So then she found someone else that she also hasn't met yet.
She slid in their DMs as well.
Also sliding into DMs. So on the day of the event, I meet all of these 2 people. And I thought this was just a one-off thing. And it was a super cool supper club in like a private venue, etc.
So you prepared the whole event?
Huh?
You prepared the whole event?
No, we just did the cooking, the supper club. Everything else, like this was done by designers. It was like 15 influencers or something. Yeah. It was like women empowerment, which means that Ramzi had to be hiding in the back. He didn't take any credit for the food. He's such a champ.
Everyone's going to know now that the food was served by men.
No, it was served by us.
Yes, that's true.
Ramzi did barely anything, to be honest.
True.
Ramzi, don't be mad. And so what was I saying? Yeah, so we vibed really well together and we did a really great execution, and we didn't even have a kitchen. So we got our own stove. Like, we just made this happen. This was an art gallery, and it worked so well, and we had so much fun. And I think all 3 of us, before we got together, were in a little bit of a black hole of like, I want to do more, but I don't know how. Then because that event went so well, we got booked right again by that same event company for another event on a bigger scale. We're like, okay, cool. Here, actually, the 3rd wasn't able to physically be there, but she was like doing all the talking with the client, you know, sourcing this all. It was an easy event. We executed it. And again, we had so much fun. And then for a few weeks, like, we didn't get booked again by that event company, which is okay. But like, we're like, I miss working with these guys. Yeah. So we had a group chat. We're like, we miss each other. Like, let's just go and like have a drink and, you know, let's just catch up. And we get there, we sit down. And from the moment we sat down, we're like, we have to do more. Why don't we do something? Why don't we come up with our own brand? Like, let's just be these 3 chefs. It worked so nice because only when we're all together, we're able to amount to that much of work, you know? So this is,
True.
we're talking about a minimum group of like 12 people. So it's not a supper club, it's more on a B2B level. Like we have an event now for 70 people. We're booked in Abu Dhabi for 30 people. Like this is all on a big scale, you know, where you have like literally like 3 hands putting this together and then still there's staff. So this is not just us like, you know, having cozy environments. This is literally when you book 3 private chefs. And of course we're, you know, it's bespoke. We're coming up with our own menus and everything. And really like the other 2 are just also so talented. And that same night, I had a bit too much water during that meeting. Went to sleep, woke up, and I was like, Trés amis. And I sent it to the group. And we're so close that nobody even second guessed me. They're like, great. I love it.
Wow.
And I just got working.
You get so lucky when you have like a dynamic.
Put a logo together, talk to a friend about helping me make a deck, like so we can actually have an offering, you know, because it's not a supper club. And yeah, it just kind of been snowballing from there. I was in Barcelona last week and I was working all day and I loved it because I was working for myself, for my team, for my child, for hopefully my legacy. You know, like it feels different when you're working for something like that.
I love the story.
Yes.
And how did you get the traction? Is it word of mouth or did you just start your page?
To be honest, it was mostly word of mouth. So we created that deck. So this is all just like after we had that meeting, just a few days after. What was the first thing we did? No, the first thing we did was like, let's do a supper club, just like call it the supper club edition, just for people to kind of like get a taste of what we do, right? So hopefully we get clientele that wants something on a bigger scale, because when we tell our story, you'd be like, oh, we can do a workshop, we can do something for companies, like events, etc. So we're like, let's keep ourselves busy and just do supper clubs. And each one still has their other individual stuff going on. Not really supper clubs. So Farah has a bakery, Ramzi is in fine dining, he's a private chef, and then there's me. But I feel like we kind of dropped everything and just focused a lot on Trés amis, and we got a lot of returns. So from that, we had that supper club. It was a success. Right afterward, I had to travel. And now we are just literally in my calendar booked almost every single day of the week until May 17th.
That's amazing.
And it keeps coming in.
And is this with Jo's Kitchen? So you haven't stopped yet?
So Jo's Kitchen is always involved. All 3 of us are always going to be, is what
separate
Trés amis
entities.
is.
Okay.
Right? In some way. There always will be pasta on the menu. I always have to put my foot down to have some sort of pasta dish there.
Course.
But again, the story is us 3 chefs, how our 3 things kind of came together to make this one powerhouse. But I still offer my workshops. I still do the supper clubs. I still do what I do completely on a separate basis, because pasta is always going to be there.
Pasta is life.
Pasta is life.
Let me ask you, so did you ever imagine, actually, let me repeat the question. What did you imagine for yourself? Let's say starting this business, having dreams, what were your big aspirations? You're like, I'm going to quit, I'm going to become this and that, open a restaurant, whatever it is. Or was it the same? And how did you manage to swerve into not doing your dream and something else?
I think we always have more than one goal, right? We have like a short-term goal and we have our long-term goal. So long-term, I don't want to spill any beans, but of course there's a big picture, right? And then there's like these other goals down the line that you want to achieve. But I always think you should aspire perfection. I know we are not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But when you aspire perfection, you're always going to get the best out of yourself that you can, knowing it is never going to be perfect, but it is your way of perfect. And this is kind of how I feel about the things I have paved for myself. So to make myself feel good, I put little goals for me in my path. So I always have a monthly goal of how much I would like to make and what is the minimum I'd accept. So I always put myself in a green, red, and orange zone, like traffic lights, just to kind of like, have a review with myself, since nobody is going to review me anymore on a monthly basis. And since I'm always employee of the month,
you always have someone to review you.
So I'm reviewing myself. So kind of like, put like little goals for myself. So I think I've been doing quite well. Of course, there have been days where, I wasn't too proud of myself and I didn't hit that goal, but I try to understand why I didn't.
So it's rather smaller term goals now rather
There's
than
always
a
the
bigger,
big one, that big ticket that
Okay.
you're working towards too, and you have like a timeline for it or something. And then there's like, how do I get there? And then
Okay.
you set like little goals for yourself. And I always set even goals for today. Like I make a to-do list of like everything I want to do in the day. And then I have that fun of checking it off,
Yeah.
And I think
is.
at the end of the day, when you check everything off, you look at that sheet and you're like, that looks good. And that one thing that you didn't check off, why did I not check it off? Am I moving it to tomorrow? Or because you also don't want to move things, right? So yeah, I try to put everything on paper. And I think that's kind of makes you feel better about, your goals.
Honestly, it's a lot for you to do on your own, right? And it's very impressive. I think it's been years, and you've done it on your own, and you really have done it. And I want to ask you, actually, when you remember all of this and you go back in time, are you proud of yourself, or do you say, I wish I did things differently? And what would you do differently?
You know what I would have done differently? I'm preaching now all about that. Ask for help. I was not like this in the beginning. I mean, I have an ego, of course, but
No.
I think at one point I don't like asking for help because I don't like being in debt to anyone. Like that's my biggest fear. I don't want anybody to think I need them and stuff. And sometimes when you don't ask for help, the journey to finding what you're looking for sometimes takes longer. Because who do I ask anonymously, Google, etc. I don't need help. I can do all the dishes. I can serve all the plates. Sometimes you just can't. You can, but then you have a burnout. So I've had quite a few burnouts where I'm like, okay, I want to do everything on my own because you know what? I don't want to, let's say, put costs on, hiring help. But then I can't move for the next 5 days because I was so stubborn and did everything on my own. So that's something that I wish I had adapted just a bit earlier,
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Jo, there's something we do, we meaning myself and I, at those who wonder, at the end of every podcast. And it's a random question by Esther Perel. And she's a really, really amazing psychotherapist that I do not know personally, but I really appreciate. So she created a deck, a game actually, called Where Should We Begin? And it's actually done to initiate conversation, to get to know people on a deeper level.
Can I start bringing that on my dates? Can I borrow this?
You can definitely do that. So there's a part of it actually that is, intimate that I removed for this podcast.
Why?
But I promise, it's done. It's done for every situation, right? So when I went on my dates, I used to also take these cards, in my mind with me.
You just kind of swipe them out. It's like, hey, so don't think I'm weird.
So I love asking questions. You know that about me. I'm very curious. And so I would love for you to take these cards. It's in front of you, the deck. I want you to shuffle it just because, I told you so.
Because the man behind the curtains tells me I can't touch it.
And choose a card and read it out loud.
The card that's going to speak to me.
Good luck.
Not ready yet. If this is about luck and fate, I'm taking this. This is terrible.
No.
Never mind.
I'm going to keep it on camera.
This one strikes to me.
Let's see. I love this bit. It's very surprising for me as well.
A decision I've been avoiding. In what area would you like this to be answered?
The first thing that pops to your mind.
A decision I've been avoiding. You don't want to know what popped first to my mind. There's this back scrub in my bathroom that I've never used, and I was thinking I should throw it away, but it looks really pretty, so I wanted to keep it.
Is that it?
That's what I thought of today in the shower, honestly. But let me give you something deeper. A decision I've been avoiding, a decision I've been avoiding.
Could be on an emotional level, personal level, cutting off friends, talking to other people, financial.
I've
moving
been
places?
really battling with the decision of like staying out completely of the dating scene, completely off everything, to just really focus on work, because actually work has been so busy. Let's be honest, I don't have time to explore anything new right now and like go on these dates, and they always feel like interviews, etc. And
to be emotionally invested in
it's like I feel like, you know, like I haven't really shut the door on that. I'm like leaving a tad open, but I also maybe don't think it's fair that I do, because I have so little to give right now. And what if the right person walks in, but my door is only this much open, and then I miss out? But then if I go off completely, what if the right person that I left this much open for,
you don't meet?
So this is my daily battle.
Let's see what you're gonna do with
So
it.
it's not that deep. You'll know soon.
I mean, it is deep, right? It's about
I mean
relationships,
end, you know,
love is very important. I mean, having a partner, not having a partner, it's a big
for the
decision.
longest time, all I've wanted is, you know, like I've been single, to be honest, for like almost 4 years. Like, and there's nothing more I wanted at one point than to just, you know, find a partner, you know, share a home with, and, you know, just all of that, talk to each other at the end of the day. And for the first time in my existence, I'm in this mindset where I'm like, but I really love me time right now. I just want to...
That's the best time.
I just want to be with these guys from Trés. I just want to work, and I just want to do meetings, and I just want to do that. Like, I'm like... And this is also something at one point, you know, I struggled with in darker moments, where I'm like, what makes me happy? Like, where is joy? Like, what is it outside of, you know, meeting friends and, you know, having wine? Like, what is it that I can do? You know, can a job actually fulfill my time and make me happy? And these were things I was asking myself. And all of a sudden I'm in it, and I didn't even realize it. I'm just in it, and I'm like, I'm really content right now. I really love what I'm doing. I'm in Barcelona, and I've worked since 7 a.m. putting together invoices and whatever, and missed out on that beautiful weather, and I don't regret it a bit.
I love this for you, Jo.
Thank you.
Jo, thank you so much. I loved having you always.
Thank you.
And we'll speak again.
Yes, I hope so.
Now,